everyone, so this is my video number 5 of the history of Ilvermorny, and I've done 4 of the videos, which you can click here, and I recommend you'd watch those first because those are the ones that actually give like the major history of the founding of Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So I would recommend watching those first before going to this one, because this video is a bit more like the epilogue kind of the whole history and sort of describing what Ilvermorny is like today. And so after the fight with Gormalith and all the founding and rebuilding of Ilvermorny, they continued to build the little granite house into a giant castle because of the fact of the growing number of students that are now attending Ilvermorny, that they wanted to make it much more like a boarding school where the kids could stay there all year round, pretty much. And with that, the school grew in reputation with more and more people, like I said, coming to stay there from all over North America. And finally, by the 19th century, Ilvermorny gained the international reputation that it holds today, and keeping it up with the equivalent of many of the other wizarding schools like Hogwarts. And James and Isolde stayed co-headmaster and headmistress of the school all their lives, and they were very beloved by all the students that came to Ilvermorny. And Chadwick became a well-traveled wizard who wrote many of the books that Ilvermorny uses today, including all the Chadwick Charms, volume 1 through 7, which are the standard books that Ilvermorny uses. And eventually Chadwick married a Mexican healer named Joselina Cauldron, and the Cauldron Boot family still remains as one of the most prominent families in the wizarding world of America. And prior to the formation of MASCA, I think it's pronounced, it's right here, or the Magical Congress of the United States, there were no real laws preventing magical people from doing stuff. And Webster Boot sort of became what was known as a magical R for hire, and he eventually returned back to London and everything to bring back a particularly dark wizard or witch. And there he fell in love with a Scottish girl who worked at the Ministry of Magic. And all of Webster's descendants are now currently going through all the years attending Hogwarts. And there was this sort of big connection that eventually one of the Boots family members did manage to return back to their original home. And Martha, who was the oldest of Isolde and James twins, was known as a squib, which means that she was born without magic even though she had a magical parent. And even though she was beloved by both her parents and her adopted older brothers, and many of the children at Ilvermorny, she felt so terrible being there without having any magical abilities herself. It just did not sit well with her, that eventually she did marry another non-magical person, and they pretty much just went off and lived a normal non-magical life. And Rhinorach, I believe it's pronounced once again, which is the younger of James and Isolde's twins, did have magic, and she was the main defense against the dark arts teacher at Ilvermorny for many years. And she never married, and a lot of the rumors went around with her saying that she may have been able to speak Parseltongue, and that she chose to never marry and to never have children because she did not want to pass down that bloodline, even though they were unaware of the fact that there are many other family members to Isolde and Gormalith that they were unaware of that were still passing down the bloodline even without them. So it didn't really matter, but still it was the implication that she realized that she may have been able to speak Parseltongue and didn't want that to continue on. And James and Isolde lived to be a little over 100, and they were so proud to watch this little cottage turn into this grand castle with many staff, dormitories, and the reputation of being this school that so many magical families are dying to send their children to. And prior to Isolde's death, she did enchant the castle with some magical properties, so it was hidden from all non-magical people, so they could never find the school. And the school was a very sort of important part to her heart, for the fact that all her childhood she really wanted to go to Hogwarts, but instead she managed to create the Hogwarts equivalent in North America. So she had that little special sort of moment in her heart. Now, Ilvermorny today, because of the fact that one of the founders was a non-magical person, Ilvermorny is viewed as one of the most democratic and least elitist of all the wizarding schools. And when you first enter Ilvermorny, there'll be 2 grand statues of Isolde and James just right outside the front doors. And once you enter the front doors, you'll be entered into this giant cupola with statues of all the 4 houses, being the Horned Serpent, the Wampus, the Pukwudgie, and the Thunderbird. And when you first enter the school as a first year, you'll be entered into this giant cupola, and all the students that are already attending the school will be above you, watching over as you get claimed your house. And how you get selected into your houses is that when your name gets called, you go and stand on this symbol of a Gordian knot. And then one of the statues will move in some sort of way to say that it wants you. So like the Thunderbird will flap its wings, the Wampus will roar, the Pukwudgie will raise its arrow, and the Horned Serpent's little charm on its head will glow. And as a wizard, you may be able to be picked by more than one of these houses. And then, because it is a democratic school, if you are selected by more than one of these houses, you get to pick which one you want to be in between those who have selected you. And it is very rare to be selected by all 4 of the houses. It only happens like 1 in every few decades. And the last known one to have it happen was the now current head of the Magical Congress of the United States of America, where she was selected by all 4 of the houses and she chose to be in the Horned Serpent. And there's many different theories about the houses, that the Horned Serpent represents the mind, the Pukwudgie represents the heart, the Wampus represents the body, and the Thunderbird represents the soul. And there's the theory that the Horned Serpent favors scholars, the Pukwudgie favors like healers and medical people, that the Wampus favors warriors, and the Thunderbird favors adventurers. And the sorting ceremony isn't the only thing that is different between Ilvermorny and Hogwarts, even though there is many similarities between the 2 schools. The other major difference is that once they are sorted into their houses, they then go into this grand hall where a wand will select the person. And due to many different rules in North America, you are only allowed to carry your wand while you're at school. So if you go home on break or something, you have to leave your wand at the school. And the only time you can carry the wand outside of the school is once you turn 17. And the main robe colors of the school is blue and cranberry, because of the fact that the blue represents Isolde, whose favorite color is blue, and she always dreamed that if she had been given a letter to go to Hogwarts, that she wished she would have been sorted into Ravenclaw. And then cranberry is after James, whose favorite food was cranberry pie. And then all this different robes, no matter your house, also are all embroidered with a golden Gordian knot in representation of the Gordian knot brooch that Isolde carried with her throughout her whole life, that she originally found in the ashes of the original Ilvermorny cottage that had once been her family home. And many Pukwudgies still remain on the grounds of Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, even though if you talk to them or anything, they'll be very grumble and complain about how much they don't want to be there, but they still remain there year after year. And there's one particular Pukwudgie out of all them who claims that his name is William, and whenever he's questioned that whether the fact of if he is the original William, he'll grumble and laugh it off and comment back saying that the original William will be well over 300 years old if that was true. But there is this side to that where nobody really knows how long a Pukwudgie will live for. And that same Pukwudgie William is very particular about the fact that he's the only one who can clean the statue of Isolde. And every year on the day of Isolde's death, you can find Pukwudgie William down near Isolde's grave, laying down many Mayflower plants on her grave. And on that day he is particularly very agitated and you really don't want to confront him about anything. So yeah, that's my whole little history I've done over these past 5 videos of sort of the founding of Ilvermorny and its whole background and how Ilvermorny's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry works. Now later, probably in a couple weeks, I'll be doing a different video where I'll be talking about like a bit more in detail about all the 4 houses and a bit more background history into those magical creatures, which a lot of people have also done videos on that stuff, but still I think it'd be fun to make one of those videos too. So stick around and watch out for that, and yeah, bye!